The queue times and crashes in the open beta have reached a whole new level, and that's why today we're going to explore some interesting ways you can still make the most of the beta in the short amount of time available. We'll also focus on how to level up your characters quickly to reach the maximum level possible. I'll show you everything there is to do, where and how to get the best loot in the beta, and how to make all of your characters strong and more efficient in a fast and effective manner. Of course, everyone is free to play the beta however they like, but on one hand there are players who have limited time and would still like to secure the beta wolf pack for the full release. With the waiting lines and constant crashes so far, it's not that easy to level up efficiently. On the other hand, I know that some of you enjoy pushing your characters to their limits and testing various abilities and builds. There are many valid reasons to make the most of a beta, even if it's just to get a taste of the game. That's why I've compiled all the tips to quickly reach the beta endgame and give your character and build a significant boost. If you want to be fast, I'd suggest to skip the story altogether. I enjoyed it on my first character during early access, and it was quite good. But, and this is a big but, it takes a considerable amount of time to complete Act 1. We're presented with a rather large chunk of the story in the beta. At the end of Act 1 there's a massive cliffhanger that leaves you craving for more. Ultimately, you'll have to wait 3 months after the beta to continue the story anyways. The story quests don't provide many experience points either. Looking back, I'd actually prefer to enjoy the entire story in one go during the full release. But you do you. If you decide to leave the story out, I'd recommend you follow the main story at least until you complete the prologue and arrive in Kjolvashad. From that point on, you can freely explore the first area, the Fractured Peaks. But before we dive into the best and most profitable activities, let's cover a few important tips on leveling up. Grab the potion from the lady who brews potions for you, which grants you 5% more experience points for half an hour. And make sure to keep this buff active at all times. It's an easy 5% boost that you should always take advantage of. Additionally, playing together in Diablo 4 is rewarded. You always get 5% more experience points when random players are near you. Open world events are a great place to meet other players. But even more bonus experience points are available if you have players in your group. You can earn a whopping 10% bonus for that. No friends? No problem. Simply invite other players, let them know what you're doing, and off you go. Easy peasy. I also recommend that on your first character you keep a few rare items in your chest. The level requirements are often significantly lower than the level at which you received the item. As a result, you can easily equip weaker, in this case new characters, with much stronger gear. This significantly speeds up leveling your alternate characters. In the open world or in dungeons, don't waste time picking up every pile of gold or destroying every destructible item hoping for some loot. Most of the time it's not worth the effort. You also rarely need to kill every small mob. Just run past individual enemies and drag them along with you. When you've accumulated a small pile of enemies, you can easily take them all out at once with AoE damage. Focus your efforts on elite enemies and bosses as they will provide you with the most experience points and the best loot. It's also important to salvage your yellow items or rare ones at the blacksmith to obtain veiled crystals as you will need them later on. Feel free to sell any blue and white loot for gold. For the time being, store legendary items in your chest. But that's enough general in-game tips for now. Let's move on to your best friend and helper in the Diablo 4 open beta. The interactive map of Sanctuary. This map has it all. Every activity you can participate in, all the collectibles you can find, and anything else relevant to your journey. You can filter the map by individual activities or points of interest, see what loot is available in dungeons, and access tons of other useful information that we'll dive into later. Plus, when you sign up, you can check off completed tasks. With your first character, there are 3 key things I'd recommend. Uncover the entire map, explore every area and clear the fog of war. This way you'll have quick access to all important locations in the endgame. As you traverse the Fractured Peaks, collect all Altars of Lilith. Each one grants permanent buffs to all characters on your account, both current and future. Each statue grants either +2 strength, +2 dexterity, +2 willpower, +2 intelligence, or +8 maximum life. With 28 statues in the Fractured Peaks alone, these buffs are not to be underestimated. Secondly, participate in open world events for good experience points and loot. You'll often encounter other players, which can lead to an experience boost. Try to complete events within the given time for better rewards. And lastly, when exploring the fractured peaks to collect altars, make sure to tackle every dungeon along the way. Dungeons are the best way to gain XP quickly, as they are packed with monsters, elite enemies, and often a boss at the end. Additionally, you'll acquire legendary aspects for all of your classes, which you can later roll onto weapons and armor at the occultist. And if you've enjoyed this video so far, please give it a big thumbs up to support me and the channel. Subscribe for more Diablo 4 content and hit the bell so you won't miss any future videos. Starting at level 15, you can attempt 2 of the 3 strongholds, with Dragan in the north recommended for endgame play. There are also 4 unique level 35 bosses on the map, which may be challenging solo without a proper build. However, many players now know that these bosses drop loot with excellent stats, so they farm them regularly. Oscar Reed, west of Nostrava, is a particularly popular endgame farm spot. Items dropped here can have extremely high stats, including the only items in the beta that can roll +2 ranks for your skills. Ashava the Pestilent can be found in the east at the Crucible at specific times. This is another opportunity to quickly collect legendaries. Ground drop loot is always available, but the additional reward chest containing 3 to 5 legendaries can only be earned once per week per character. Also, make sure not to hit the cap for the bonus currency obols, which you earn by completing public events. Once you've collected some, spend them at special vendors like the one in Kjolvashad for random loot. With a bit of luck, you could score more legendaries. It's best to do this as late as possible for higher rolls, but of course before reaching the cap. But now that you know how to level up efficiently and where to find the best loot, let's head to Kjolvashad to improve your gear even further. First and foremost, you'll want to craft some powerful legendaries. To do this, you'll need a legendary item with a potent, build-compatible legendary affix. In my case, it's a ring that grants an additional 9.3% damage per second while I stand still. After 3 seconds, I deal a whopping 30% more damage. Next, you'll need a rare item with suitable stats that complement your build. In my example, it's this ring. Now, make your way to the occultist. Here you can choose to reroll an affix on the rare item that you don't like or whose roll is too low. Once everything is in order, extract the legendary affix from the legendary item. This affix will be stored in a separate tab within your inventory and can be rolled onto a new item only once, after which it cannot be extracted again. So think carefully about where you want to use it. Now roll the legendary affix onto your rare item. And voila, you've transformed it into a mighty legendary. Alternatively, you can use a legendary aspect from your Codex of Power, but keep in mind that the roll from these predefined aspects will always be the lowest possible. So it's always better to find the right aspect on an item and transfer it yourself. Next up, visit the jeweler. Here you can refine and enhance the crystals you found. You don't even have to take them out of your stash, as they'll be automatically gathered from your account. Quite a convenient feature, if I may say so. Additionally, you can have crystal sockets added to your items, allowing you to equip more crystals and further improve your build. To add the mod slots to your armor, you will have to obtain resources by defeating Ashava, for example. At the jeweler, you can also upgrade your jewelry. Upgrades up to level 2 are relatively affordable, but beyond that, the cost becomes quite steep. Lastly, you can enhance your weapons and armor at the blacksmith. The same principle applies here. After level 2, be prepared to dig deep into your pockets. In the end, I recommend frequently resetting your skill points and experimenting with various builds. Resetting all your points will only cost you around 3000 gold, so make the most of it and explore different options. But that's it for this video. Today we delved deeper into the details and got a bit nerdier. I hope you still enjoyed it and, most importantly, found it informative. If so, be sure to give it a big thumbs up and check out my previous video displayed right here on the screen. I wish you all an awesome day and I'll catch you in the next one.